This is Valmiki Ramayan, Season 7, Episode 15, Indrajit. Hanuman went up to Ram and told him what had happened on the western front. Right there on the battlefield, before our very eyes, Indrajit killed Sita. Upon hearing those words, Ram collapsed to the ground like a tree hacked off at the roots. Nipapata tada bhumau chinnamoola ivadrumah. After all that they had done to save Sita, is this how it ended? Lakshman was struck by the unfairness of it all. What is the point of being good, following dharma, if this is the result? But he reminded Ram that they must not let the situation paralyze them. They had to focus on doing, on actions. They had a war to fight. Just then, Vibhishan came to the scene. Lakshman told him, "We heard from Hanuman that Indrajit killed Sita." But before Lakshman could say anything else, Vibhishan interrupted him and said, "That is impossible. I know Ravan very well. Indrajit must have made it look like he killed Sita. This is a trick and a distraction. I think he wants to keep us preoccupied while preparing for something else." And then Vibhishan realized what this was all about. He said, alarmed, "Chaityam nikumbhila madhya prapya homam karishyati." Indrajit must have gone to the shrine of Nikumbhila to do a fire ritual. And if he completes this ritual, he will have powers that will make it impossible to defeat him. We must stop him before it's too late. Lakshman, Vibhishan and Hanuman then set off with a large unit of Vanar troops to tackle Indrajit. The Nikumbhila shrine was under a large banyan tree in the middle of a thick grove. Vibhishan saw some Rakshas troops guarding the area, and his doubts were confirmed. He told Lakshman, "Indrajit is inside for sure. We must break through the guards right away." The Vanar troops charged onto the Rakshas army, and a terrible battle again ensued. Indrajit heard the battle cries, and he got up without finishing what he was doing. He came out from under the tree cover and got on to his chariot. And then, in the distance, he saw Vibhishan and Lakshman. This was the first time in the war that Indrajit had come face to face with his uncle Vibhishan. And he asked him this biting question, "Ihatvam jata samvriddha sakshat bhrata pitur mama." You were born here. You are my father's brother. How could you betray us? We had seen earlier in episode 3 that although Vibhishan had left Ravan, he was no traitor. And now he clarified once again. Ravan grabs other people's wealth. He takes any woman he fancies. I cannot be a party to such things. The terrible slaughter of the rishis is unforgivable. Ravan's arrogance, rage, and enmity with anyone and everyone cloud his many virtues. And that is why I left my brother, your father. Doshaihi etaihi parityakto maya bhrata pita tava. But you will not understand this. You are too arrogant and childish yourself. Anyway, your time has come. Lakshman here will see to that. Turning to Lakshman, Indrajit mocked, "You seem to have forgotten what I did to all of you the other day. Today, my arrows will knock the life out of you. The vultures will feast on your body." Lakshman did not let Indrajit's mind games affect him. He said simply, "Stop talking and fight." And then began a most deadly battle between Lakshman and Indrajit. Vikrantau balasampannau Ubhau Paramadurjeyau. Both were supremely brave and strong, and extremely difficult to defeat. They fired at each other, arrow after deadly arrow, and their movements were so quick that one could barely see their actions. Taking an arrow from the quiver, loading it on the bow, aiming it and releasing it. Nahi adanam, numushti pratisandhanam, na lakshya pratipadanam. Soon both their bodies were covered with wounds. Srijantau rudiram choshnam, jalam prasravanaviva. Warm blood flowed down their bodies like waterfalls. But they kept going at each other without any let-up. In all this, Vibhishan could not get himself to attack his nephew directly. He focused his energy on the rest of Indrajit's forces. The sun went down, but the battle continued in the failing light. Indrajit had the advantage of fighting from his chariot, while Lakshman was on the ground. And so, Lakshman fired an arrow and killed the Rakshasa's charioteer. But Indrajit quickly took the reins in his own hands and carried on fighting. He deftly alternated between guiding the horses and firing arrows from his bow. Swayam sarathyam akarot, punascha dhanuras prishat. Just then, 4 Vanaras jumped onto his horses and killed them. Indrajit had to dismount from his chariot. However, he then made a surprise move. He disengaged from the battle. Taking advantage of the darkness, he disappeared behind a group of Rakshas soldiers. And before anyone knew what he was up to, he returned with a new chariot and fresh horses. This time, he attacked Lakshman as well as Vibhishan. Vibhishan was enraged, struck Indrajit's horses with his mace, and killed them all. Indrajit was forced to climb down from his chariot and fight Lakshman face to face. Both warriors started firing off their most deadly weapons. Lakshman used the Varunastra, but Indrajit brought it down with his Raudrastra. In turn, the Rakshas attacked with the Agneyastra, which Lakshman neutralized with his Suryastra. And so it went on. Finally, Lakshman loaded the all-powerful Aindrastra onto his bow. He pulled the bowstring all the way to his ears, aimed the arrow at Indrajit's neck, and released it. In a flash, it was all over. Indrajit's severed head lay on the ground. Indrajit, the great warrior who had defeated Indra, was finally felled by the Aindrastra, Indra's Astra. Iti ha asa. That is how it happened.